This is a video to help a friend who is currently installing new lithium iron phosphate batteries in the house bank of their bus and has just completed an inverter upgrade. I wanted to make sure to highlight an issue that I saw in the wiring that's existing, so that when he goes to make these changes, he's got appropriately sized wires for the loads and doesn't have any safety issues with creating accidental fusible links. So first, let's start with how the system works. Right here is the lug where the battery cables from the bank run to. On my bus, there's actually 3 cables that feed this, and then the single ground cable that goes up to the inverters. I'm seeing the same thing over here on the positive terminal lug. There's only 2 cables running down to the batteries. I would expect to see 3 here, but that's okay. These 2 cables can support that much power. So if he just modifies those at the end or makes new cables and runs to these lugs, that's all well and dandy, because it sounds like he's purchased some 4/0 wire that will easily support this. Now I'm seeing a change that's happened on this bus from factory that he may or may not be aware of. The factory installed a cutoff switch right here to actually turn off the house battery bank, and it runs typically from this lug right here down through here, and you can actually see where the mount was to tether it to the wall here. And then to cut the power off, it would go to this lug on the stud of the shunts. So whoever got rid of the house cutoff switch, what they did was they just removed these wires, got rid of the switch, and then they ran a bridge between these 2 studs. That's fine as long as you're not pulling too much power, but it appears that it's a smaller gauge wire than all the other stuff, and it's likely a piece of the original house bank switch, which the several that I've seen, they've all been undersized in my opinion when you look at all the other heavy gauge of everything else. So that's important, because if he were to just wire in his new house batteries and either make new cables to this stud and to this stud, or utilize these existing ones, there remains an undersized cable right here that really should be doubled up with 2 4/0 cables. Or if I did see in his parts list, he has some other equipment to do battery cutoff. This is where I would probably recommend, if he doesn't tie into this loop right here, make sure that's beefed up. But I would probably tie in right there, since the factory did, and there's plenty of space to mount things, and it just makes sense. So that's what I wanted to highlight, just to be aware that you know, if a different decision was made with doing the battery cutoff and this was not redone, it is a little bit of an undersized and potentially accidental fusible link with continuous 500 amps in it. One other thing while we're looking at this, just to keep in mind, is since we're talking about running big loads on this thing from a big battery for continuous duty, this ground cable right here, where you know the lugs from all your batteries tie in and runs out, I would keep an eye on the temperature of this thing right here. Maybe the first time you're running both rooftop units and some additional coach load, you know, lights, fridge, all that stuff, go out and check this thing and just see if it gets warm after, say, 5 minutes, 30 minutes, a couple hours of continuous use, especially in hot weather. If it doesn't get warm, I think you're in the clear, but it's just something to keep an eye on, since after this, it's probably your next bottleneck in the system. So I hope that's helpful, and let me know if you have any questions or clarifications that I can make. Thanks.